What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video. My name is Mike, full-time media seller here at the storage unit. Today it is beautiful out. What do we have in store for you today? We got a great topic. I talked to some Goodwill manager behind the scenes and some regular associates at the Goodwill, so I'm going to kind of dive into that topic throughout this video. We also got what we're listing on eBay, what we're selling on eBay, what we're listing on Amazon, what we're selling on Amazon. I got everything covered in today's video. More importantly, what am I listing, right? I mean, I guess sell. All right, what's more important, listing or selling? I mean, you can't sell unless you list. So what came first, the chicken or the egg? It's kind of that deal. So I guess listing is more important. You guys keep me honest when I list things. Antique Book here, Antique Book Collective. Check him out, YouTube channel. He should be proud of me. This is an 1899 fairy tale book called The Crock of Gold. This is one of those ones where I couldn't find any of this exact one on eBay. So what do you do in that situation? You Google it. Usually it pops up on Biblio and Abe's Books. That's exactly what happened with this one. They had it listed over there for around $55 and $65. I listed mine promoted. $49.99, offers on. This is from 1899, right? So this stuff's pretty cool. I mean, you guys know I'm not a huge fan of books, but I mean, when you got something that's from 1899 and you're like holding it in your hand, you're like, all right, that's pretty cool. So that's what we listed. Like I said, I'll take any offer that comes in. Did we sell anything? Yes, we did. I'm gonna throw you out to my eBay guy as always. He's on a streak. I mean, he's been selling stuff every single week, so kudos to him. I'm glad he's finally making me some money. I pay him like 50 bucks an hour, so he better be making money. Throw you out to him, see what I sold on eBay this week. All right, we sold something on eBay. That means it's a great day. The universe is great. That we listed, right? You guys make me list things. We listed this for, I don't know, $89.99 or $94.99. I sent an offer out for, I think, $80. No, I sent an offer out for $79.79, right? Because I'm a jackass, $79.79. They countered at $60. I declined. And then somebody sent an offer for $81, so I had to list it for $89.99, so I took it. So, not a bad sale here. And listen, it's going right in the bubble mailer just to piss everybody off. An $81 book is not going in a box. We don't care. Back to you, boss, at the storage unit. All right, you see we sold that Grimm book that we listed last week. We took an offer. I think it was sold for around $80. I had a few lowball offers come in, so I kind of stood my ground. Usually I just take it, right? I'm only into it for like, actually, no, I paid up for that one. I think I was into that one for like $12. Amazon wanted me to sell it for 20 bucks. It's an $80+ book all day long. So we sold that, good sale. Keeps the eBay fun money rolling in. But I wanted to kind of get into this topic of the conversation I had with the Goodwill manager. So I was scanning in the store, right? I mean, it's pretty obvious when I'm scanning, right? This thing shoots a laser beam out of it. I'm like Godzilla in there, right? I got my sound on 1,000. I don't have my sound on, but manager comes up to me and I start talking to the manager and like, hey, you know, I see you're scanning stuff. And we just had a conversation that kind of developed as it went on, right? So I always try to be open with my business, and situations like this are a prime example of why having conversations can, you know, affect your business or kind of give you an idea of where you're at when it comes to your thrift stores. So we got on the topic of, I'm not finding profitable books in Goodwills anymore, right? Like, I play dumb. Like, why am I not finding profitable books in Goodwills anymore? So, the way Goodwill works, the first thing I want to talk about is you show up to the Goodwill, you want to donate your books, right? You show up to your local Goodwill, your closest one. Hey guys, here, I got a car full of books, you donate them. The original train of thought was that when you donate them books to your local Goodwill, they will go out on the shelf at your local Goodwill, right? You donate something to your local thrift store, it gets put out at your local thrift store. So the first thing I want you to think about is, now I don't know if this is for all Goodwills, I'm talking central Pennsylvania Goodwills, is when you get a donation, they're being sent away. So you donate your books, They don't go in the pile to put out in the store and price. They go in the pile to go to the truck to the distribution center. I mean, right there is a huge red flag, right? So think about it. Everything you donate at your local store is not helping your local community anymore. And I think this is a huge problem. And what happens here, sooner or later, they're going to get exposed for this. So everything goes to a main warehouse, right? You're probably thinking, well, what's going on at the main warehouse? I mean, you guys kind of know, right? Everything is being looked up. That's just the reality of it. I mean, they see the money resellers make, right? Me and you. And they say, well, how can we make that money? They just said to hell with it. No more, you donate here, it goes out here. Nope. And they'll never it'll never be openly talked about, right? Because they want people to feel like, hey, go to my local Goodwill, help out some people in the community. They'll get this stuff at a reasonable price. Them days are gone. And it's crazy to me that we have gotten to this point, but I can see why we have gotten there. So you donate at your local Goodwill, it goes to a distribution center where they decide what the next step is. So before we keep going down the rabbit hole, YouTube comment of the week. Every week I pick out a comment, and last week, reseller confessions, we got Sigil. Sigil's been around supporting the channel for many months. I don't even know how many months, but he's a member. He's on all the calls. Started from nothing, crushing it nowadays. He said, my reseller confession is I lick every CD to clean them. And I thought about this, right? As much as Sigil is joking around, right? You know, as much as Sigil's joking around, how many people overdo things like prep, right? You get a CD, you know, like you got to make sure it's like perfectly clean and everything. And as much as this is joking around, a lot of people waste a lot of time with things like prep. What are you going to do with this, right? So, I mean, you're probably thinking, Mike, don't lick this CD. It's just sitting at your storage unit. I mean, you don't know what's on this thing, right? But to prove the point that we waste too much time on low value or even zero value task, I'm going to lick this CD for you. So here goes nothing. Hey, you probably didn't even think I licked it because it was from the front, right? You couldn't see nothing. Here we go. All right, that is very good condition now. Make sure you put in the condition note that you licked it clean. So Sigil brings up a good point. As much as it is like joking, we can't keep wasting time with things like this. I'm not going to send this to the customer. It's a dud, right? I'm going to go in my trash can. Goodbye. So, YouTube comment of the week. I appreciate everybody always commenting, adding your 2 cents when it comes to things like this. So we left off, the stuff goes to the warehouse. You donate. We're doing the life cycle of the stuff you donate at your local Goodwill. So it goes to the warehouse. All right. This is where we all lose. So, gets to the warehouse. They have people that are going to scan the books, right? Any book that has a barcode, even some with ISBNs, they're going to look these things up. They have a database. They also have all the same software, accessible software that we all use, right? It makes everything easy. You don't need to be a rocket science. You just pay somebody minimum wage. Goodwill gets free labor, and they just scan stuff all day long. And if it's green, it goes in the green pile. If it's red, it goes in the red pile. They look things up. They have a list of brands, Bolo brands to be on the lookout, trends to be on the lookout for. Everything gets decided. Is it going online? Are we selling it on Shop Goodwill? Are we selling it on Amazon? Are we selling it on eBay? It all gets decided at the distribution center. And all that stuff goes into the pile. Hey, we're going to send this to the online fulfillment center. Everything else, they price at the distribution centers. So there's no pricer in your individual store anymore. There's not a book person. There's not a clothing person. It all gets priced at the distribution center. So now when you're in a store, you know, you see one of the greatest movies of all time, The Color of Money, and there's no sticker on it. All the other DVDs are $2.99. You take this up, and they even play this over the loudspeaker now. If there is no price tag, they are required to have it sent back to the distribution center to be ran through the whole process again. it's crazy to me that the money they're making online, they're willing to pay the extra shipping costs to have the stuff sent back. But this is the reality of this. And I know a lot of people rely on these thrift stores. And this is why you're not finding stuff at the Goodwill like you used to. We used to be able to walk in, see something that's, you know, $200 item, $300 item. Goodwill is looking everything up. They don't care. They are shameless competition to all of us, and we have to treat it like that. And unfortunately, if you rely on the Goodwills and the Goodwill bins, which we're going to get into in a second, because I know everybody's like, the Goodwill bins, you'll be a billionaire. The bins, live at the bins every day. The bins. It's like, I go nuts. All right, so what else do we got going on? I asked the same thing. Well, I didn't ask the question in the Discord, right? Over in YouTube channel membership, we got a Discord, hundreds of media sellers leveling up their game. First up, I got a response. Bookhawk says, my local book DVD guy has to scan everything through their online database first to send their bolos to e-commerce, right? So Bookhawk is basically piling on what I said. If it's just a scan, I always said, if I could find like a bunch of chimps that used to be in the circus, right? The ones that are really smart, they can do all kinds of things. You could hire a bunch of chimps to be out scanning stuff. As long as they hear the green, boom, green. See the green, boom, green. Red goes red. Piling on. They are scanning everything. And you can see this. I mean, my Goodwills personally, the media sections are depleted. Sure, you're going to find stuff like I'm going to talk about here. I got some stuff that I'm sending in from the Goodwill this week. But it's not like it used to be. It's not even a reliable option anymore. If you rely on the Goodwills, you're screwed. I mean, you're screwed. I'm here to tell you this. This is facts. I'm not making this up. It's just the way it is. We also had another comment over in the Discord from Logo, another longtime channel supporter. In my experience, they're just going for bolo things and trends on social media and high-end brands that resell for money. Ray-Bans, Bose, Easton Press. The thing is that people that are in charge of this process are W-2 employees that hate their jobs. I believe we can count on them to do the bare minimum. I understand what he's saying, right? Like, how can you train somebody the knowledge of somebody that's actually a reseller? Sure, things are going to get through. But everything that just requires a manual lookup, a manual type in on eBay, or even a barcode scan, we lose every single time. There's really no barrier to entry, you know, especially all the content. They could be using my trigger sets for all we know, right? And as much as, you know, I would like to agree that it's just the higher end Easton Press, these stores are barren for books, and they have been. You are not finding a $20 profitable book at a Goodwill in central Pennsylvania. It does not exist. They are scraping the floor, and if you look at their listings, hey, they'll list a book for $8, $6, $5. They don't care, you know. It's just, if they lose money, it's a business write-off, even though they're non-profit, right? How do things wind up at the bins? Another question I had. So we donated it. It got to the distribution center. They said, hey, your stuff is junk. They send it back to the store. They have their 5 colors, right? Every week's a different color. After it gets through them, making sure it's not worth nothing for them to sell online, it goes back to the stores. It sits there for 6 weeks. Then they decide, okay, well, if we don't think it's worth nothing and somebody doesn't buy it within 6 weeks, that's when it winds up at the bins. Mike, I seen on YouTube people are finding, you know, $100 shirts at the bins. And sure, there still are things. There's still a little bit of treasure to be found. You dig long enough, you'll find a gold nugget, right? That's the way it works. But the bins is the very last stop in their supply chain. So relying on the very last stop, and some people have great success with books at the bins, especially antique sellers, right? Because, you know, if you do pay somebody, they're not going to open this up, type in the year, the author, if it's signed, right? There's a lot more that goes into it. But you people that rely on the bins, here to tell you, your days are numbered. If you don't think the bins are never going away, right? I can see all the comments now. The bins are never leaving. 3 bins used to exist around me. 3 bin stores. They were all packed every time I went. You couldn't even get into place. It was chaos. They were making money. 3 bin locations. 2 have closed in the past 2 years. 1 bin location left. It's a tiny little mud hut hole. It's probably 15 minutes from where I live. I don't even go. It's junk. It's literally, it stinks. It's nasty. It's a terrible place to live and try to build a business off of. So the bins, don't mess around with them. And if you do, and that's your only source, good luck, Chuck, because when your bins close, like what happened, I used to go to this one bins, right? Same booksellers, rotten POSs. Bins closed, where are they now? Hopefully they had a storage unit they can live out of. The whole purpose of Goodwill sucking and Goodwill getting greedy, and why I'm talking about this, is so that I force you to look upstream. Don't get the stuff before it goes to the Goodwill, right? Why is the lady donating all of her books to the Goodwill? You should have an ad on Facebook, Craigslist, Nextdoor. That should be all your stuff, not Goodwill's. At the end of the day, they can do what they want. They're a business, just like us. They're literally competition. You see a scanner, you think, oh, I got competition. Well, it's the same way with another business, another thrift store, and the prices keep going up. Goodwill is all but dead. I'm here to tell you, for me, it's the worst thrift store chain I have. It has been that way for months, probably even over a year. Personally, I'm glad the bin's closed. All you people that rely on one store to have a business, you're never gonna make it. Sooner or later, something's gonna happen. It's just not gonna work. And all those idiots, rude people, ignorant booksellers at my bins, suckers, that's what you get. So, I mean, this is what's going on in thrift stores. And it's probably, you know, Salvation Army is probably thinking about doing the same thing. They see all the money Goodwill's making online. They see all the listings Goodwill has. It's just the way it is. All right, what are we selling on Amazon this week? We're gonna fly through these. Let's make it quick. First up, Tupac, All Eyes on Me, 2-disc CD. I paid $1 for it. We sold $51.57. Profit after fees was $38.42. Turned $1 into $38. I mean, if you guys don't know to scan Tupac, I can't help you. I can't help you. Moving on. The Book of 101 Opera Librettos. I have no idea. Opera stuff does really well. Librettos clearly do. This book was huge. The weight on this thing was almost 7 pounds. Sold for $42.49. Profit was $25.14. Probably into it for $1, $2 at most. 7-pound book basically. So they took, what was that, $17 in fees, almost half the price of that one. And the last item we sold was Arborist Certification Study Guide. For those that don't know, I recommend everybody steer clear of all textbooks. This really isn't a textbook. It's a study guide from like a random publisher. It's not like your Cengage, McGraw-Hill. Don't sell textbooks. You're going to get jammed up. You're going to get sued. Your account's going to get shut down. I don't care what anybody's telling you out there. Flip textbooks, eBay to Amazon. Sooner or later, you're going to get jammed up. And ain't nobody going to be able to save you. You're going to have to hire a lawyer. You're going to have to pay a bunch of money because you think selling textbooks is A-okay. And I'll have a million of you in the comments saying, I've been selling textbooks for 10 years and I never had any issues. To each their own. I'm just here to be the guiding light, and I want everybody to be successful. I don't want anybody to get banned. Textbooks is a red flag. Use services like restricted inventory. Sell back your book. Do not try to sell these things yourself, even if it is a legitimate textbook. You go to the college bookstore and you get this textbook and you try to sell it. They don't care. It's counterfeit without test buys. It doesn't matter. I don't care what kind of paper trail you got. They don't even have to get the item to say it's counterfeit. And if you don't think people are getting jammed up every day selling stupid textbooks, I always tell everybody, is your whole business worth one book? Come on, sooner or later, the Grim Reaper is going to get you. And he's going to get you a lot quicker than he gets me. You keep playing these textbook games. Cut your losses, send it into restricted inventory, sell back your book, get some money out of it, and just move on with your life. I promise you, you will sleep easier, not worried about the boogeyman. So what are we sending into Amazon? I guess we'll start off with a video game. It's been a while since I've sold a video game. It's because Jack, you don't know Jack, we had him on the podcast. He does like $20 trillion a year in video games. And we got Jameson over in the Discord as well. They buy all the video games, so they leave none for us. But I found one. Monster Jam. We paid $5. Profit is 20. Well, listen. You don't have the buy box in video games, Michael. So you got to go off the lowest FBA price. We'll make $16 after our $5. We'll make $11. I don't have the buy box, right? So I can't go at $29.94. I got to go down probably with this person who doesn't have it either. So make 10 bucks after fees. Not too shabby. Sells about once a week. Can't complain. They had a lot of DVDs. A lot. I scanned a lot. I got 3. This is all from one store. This is all I got from the Goodwill. And they had lots of media, lots of CDs, lots of DVDs. Don't believe me that it's going under. That's fine. Well, this doesn't want to scan. This was a cover scan that I did. You run into these barcodes sometimes. They're absolutely terrible, right? I didn't even have my screen recorded for the for Monster Jam either. So now I got to pop it back up for you because I'm a terrible YouTuber that should have 1 million subscribers like Mr. Beast and be like everybody else. I'm going to pop this back up for you just so you guys can see it real quick. There you go, right? It's going off used buy box, but like I said, that's not us. We're down there. $16 minus $5, $11. Cover scan. I'll tell you what this is afterwards. Let me get these other two. Hopefully these other two weren't cover scans now. Gary Cooper, the pride of the Yankees. I used to be a big baseball fan. Go Phillies, right? They won the World Series. I remember I watched the World Series because I was at Michigan State University. Of course, the year the Phillies win the World Series, I'm not even in the city to party. Scans red because it's used buy box, but this is a new DVD. So you make $12. We paid $3 for it. $9 after fees. Sells about once a week. Another new DVD we have here, The Pianist. Not as good as the other one. The new buy box is $19.53. Make 10 bucks, so we make $7 after fees. This thing sells basically, you know, every other day, so no complaints about that one. That's what we're sending in, a little bit of video game action. Let me find this other one for you, but still, on the topic of Goodwills being crap, we all knew it was coming, right? As reselling got more popular, we all knew Goodwill eventually was going to have a huge online presence. There's nothing we can do about it, unfortunately. That's just the way it is. I mean, you got to get smarter. You got to get better. Work with libraries. Work with clean out companies, estate sale companies. I guess this might sound harsh. If you rely solely on thrift stores, your reselling business is not going to last. I truly believe that. You have to have other ways to bring inventory to you to thrive and survive when things like this happen. Get smart, put out free ads, free flyers, reach out to companies, reach out to libraries. There's so much you can do. So gentleman's agreement. That's what we got here. 35K rank. I mean, that's great for DVDs. There's only one FBA offer, $21.47. Make $13 after fees. We pay $3.10. I will probably go up a little bit, probably $29.99. This person will sell out how quick this sells. So, I mean, one whole Goodwill, I got 4 measly things. I don't rely on them anymore. When I first started, I'll admit to this. When I first started thrifting, Goodwill was like, my God, why can I make so much money from the Goodwill? And as I grew and as I realized the temperament of the markets, I quickly realized before they even got into their shop Goodwill and all their nonsense that all right, something's going on, right? We all know the thrift stores, Goodwills especially, aren't as good as they used to be. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to need something else because clearly this isn't sustainable. I would challenge anybody just to rely on a Goodwill, the thrift store chain Goodwill, for 6 months to a year of your business. Let me know how it goes, because I'm telling you, I'm here to tell you, it's not going to be good. And I understand some of you have success at the bins, but 2 or 3 closed around me. If that's not writing on the wall, oh, they're opening new ones. Yeah, well, they're closing them as well. I'm not making this up. You can Google the bins that used to be around me. I had one over in Mechanicsburg and one in Lancaster. Hell, me and one of the channel members, Brian, we went to the one in Lancaster together when he was out in town, and they don't exist no more. And the prices have gone up. $1.99, $2.99 per pound. We sold a 7-pound book. If that's in the bins and I gotta pay $1.99 per pound, there's no more, oh, books are 25 and 50 cents. It's all by the pound. That book would have been $14. I'm out of here. You guys are gonna stroke me out relying on these Goodwill bin stores acting like it's some kind of business. It ain't, chief. Anyway, I appreciate you watching. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more useful videos. Bye-bye.